With the first GOP debate right around the corner, I have decided to do a breakdown for a couple of the candidates that may or may not be taking part in the debate. I'm not going to do a breakdown of every single person that may or may not be there. Really, in my mind, it comes down to three different people. And I have loosely ranked them based upon my interest in their campaign and then also my interest in 2024. These are the three candidates that I think have the best chance of succeeding and then are also doing the best in terms of their campaign. So without further ado, my ranking, number 3, of course, is Donald J. Trump. Everybody knows, everybody understands that the greatest threat to Trump is not what the Republicans are trying to do to him. It is not what the Democrats are trying to do to him. It is what he continues to do to himself. One thing that Trump continues to do that hurts him is that he refuses to make any kind of effort to coexist. An interesting thing that has happened is he has basically created his own political party, despite the fact he is running as a Republican. He has created a subgroup within the Republican Party that is dedicated to voting for him. And while it might be good that he has a dedicated fan base, he continues to alienate everyone that is not within that specific subgroup. He does a really good job of retaining those that really bought into his 2016 campaign, but does not do a very good job of reaching those that are on the fence. There is no such thing as kind of Trump. There's no such thing as partially Trump or 50% Trump. There's only Trump, and you simply have to meet him wherever he is. Otherwise, you will probably be labeled his enemy. He has basically set up an all or nothing campaign, which is enticing for people that are always Trump, but kind of repulsive in the eyes of everybody else. Another testimony to Trump's lack of ability to coexist is the fact that he has not announced that he will be partaking in the debate scheduled in 2 weeks. He seems to think that he has already won and everybody is competing for second, which again might seem like a flex to some people, but it could rob him of an opportunity to reach people in the middle if that mentality keeps him from taking the debate stage. There could be a moment where Trump takes the stage and does really well, as he can hold his own in a debate, but if he refuses, it will hinder his ability to reach anyone that hasn't already bought in. And of course, we have to talk about all of the pending investigations that are going on and how that will affect or could potentially affect Trump's campaign. Trump continues to do a disservice to himself by talking about his legal issues too much. The reason why I'm skittish on Trump in 2024 is because he will not shut up. He continues to talk about his legal issues, seemingly without the consent of his lawyers, and he probably thinks that it's helping him, but it's really not. In order to win the 2024 election and fight through all of the pending investigations and indictments, he will have to have an infinite amount of political grace, and that is an amount I do not think he possesses. The classified documents case against Trump does not start until May 2024. Even if he is not prosecuted, I am skeptical on whether or not he can avoid hurting his own campaign and focus on Biden instead of the court case itself. Trump certainly enters into the election cycle with the most baggage, and his lack of self-awareness and pride add to that. Number 2 is going to be Ron DeSantis. Now, DeSantis for a long time has been hailed as the best opposition / alternative to Trump. The individuals that are on the fence about Trump are kind of expected to fall into his camp. One thing DeSantis really needs to do is focus on creating and forming his own identity. The media and the Republican Party have labeled him as Trump's greatest threat, and if he is not careful, the focus on Trump could derail his campaign. Trump is very good at making everything about him. You cannot outbully him. If you try to beat Trump at his own game, you will lose. If DeSantis lets Trump come in and hijack the focus and identity of his campaign, it will do significant damage and will significantly hinder his ability to win the primary. DeSantis is at a disadvantage right now because Trump does already have an established brand. If his response to that is simply to become Trump 2.0, then he will lose. He needs to separate himself from Trump at every corner whenever he can. Number one, the person that I am most interested in terms of his campaign, and then probably most interested in voting for in 2024 is Vivek Ramaswamy. I love the approach Vivek has taken in his campaign. Not only has he made the typical rounds by holding rallies and making appearances on mainstream media, he has also been making appearances on more private outlets and podcasts. He has appeared on a podcast with Charlemagne the God. He has also appeared on the David Pakman Show. Very recently, over the last couple of days, he has also spoken with Jordan Peterson, which is kind of interesting because I don't really consider Jordan Peterson to be a main staple political voice necessarily, but he has gone out of his way to reach out to a wide variety of different people. It is interesting that he has chosen a less mainstream route to help build his fan base. One thing that really sticks out to me is that Vivek really tries to make himself more available to the people. He makes an effort to go out to the people by engaging with all of these podcasts and private speakers. He comes across as more genuine and relatable, something that I think is helping him in helping his campaign. He seems, in my mind, Vivek seems the least amount. He does not seem like a politician, or he seems the least politician-like, if that's the right way of saying it. And I think that that is something that is drawing me to him and his campaign, is that he doesn't seem like the typical politician type. So he is number one on my list. I really like what he's doing. I like the approach that he's taken. If you go and listen to his debates and the podcasts that he's been on, he's very intelligent, very knowledgeable, and does a very good job. I'm interested to see what he does during the debate. I'm hoping Trump decides to show up and take the debate stage because I would like to see that interaction between them. But that's really my breakdown. Number 3 is Trump. Number 2 is DeSantis. Number 1 is Vivek Ramaswamy. That's a loose ranking. It could change, but we'll see what happens.